He says, don't know why I got zoomies there. Movement sequence. Today, we're going to be breaking down a little bit of a flow. Let's see. Start like this. Move along. Open up. Sweet water. Round and up. That's going to be the sequence we play with today. There's a few more challenging elements in this video today. The reason being because on this channel, Movement Decoded, there is a plethora of isolated breakdowns of many of the more challenging aspects of this sequence. So if something feels a little bit more spicy, head on over to the other video and then see what you can piece together. I will try to offer some regressions and things to think about when you want to make this flow your own in terms of how we can modify it. But hopefully you curious beings here will come up with your own kind of strategies. So let's get to it. A lot of what I really love about today is going to be something I explore a lot in my classes, in person, and it's this idea of this conical spiral. So we can warm up here. I'm thinking keeping my base fixed and my head moving. So I'm drawing this cone. Another element we can do once we've done these, both directions. Let's do 6 this side, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is keeping the head fixed and the hips moving. This is a lovely warm-up. I like to, once I've kind of done my general warm-up, I love to just do this. It kind of gets my body in this feeling of where does it naturally want to flow to next. This is when I feel a bit stuck and I don't know where to start sometimes. I do some of those. And let's do it in a lunge position, again from the head. We'll go 5. This one's a little bit harder to balance because we don't have this sort of left and right quality. So you have to really appreciate the floor, change direction. The floor beneath the feet, reinforcing the movement of the weight of the body. It's actually not, if you're losing balance, it's also a very nice thing because it's this element of losing balance. So I'm going with the waist now. If you do lose balance, it takes you into the ground in a lovely way. So other direction. Keeping my head, or the sort of this concept of the head still and the waist drawing. Other direction. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be kind of I want you to really, when I invite this spiral, I really want you to see which direction and which perspective you want to move with. And it could be really, really interesting in how the blueprint of this sequence becomes your own in that sense. So now we're going to play with some single leg cartwheels. And with these, you choose. We'll do double leg cartwheels, normal cartwheels, and then we'll do single leg cartwheels. So using this entry and seeing how it flows us nicely. It's really like letting the weight of the head take the trajectory of the hands. I'll go another direction, rotate the other direction as well. So, and just seeing where the impulse of that spiral wants to take the cartwheel. And hopefully if you're proficient in the cartwheel, it's going to actually feel kind of different, doing a somewhat basic movement of this. And I can choose which direction I want to go. And then all of a sudden the cartwheel can be broken down into something very interesting, very different. Whoa, head leads and feet follow. And wherever my body weight takes me, I'm just going to go with it and do a little scissor switch. Single leg entry. This is nice because when we're doing the spiral, we can also decide which hand I want to put down. Notice there, I was leading with the right, leading with the left. So if I spiral my head in the same direction again, if I lead with my right hand, comes into that hopping meolua. If I do the same direction here, lead with my left hand, comes into the single leg cartwheel. Both single leg cartwheel, one's just backside, one's front side. And yeah, also let's see what happens if I'm not I'm rotating this way now, and I'm still going to go this direction. I'm on the backside now. It draws a really lovely kind of figure of 8 motion. So it does mitigate this. Sometimes what can happen in our movement practice, we kind of land and then pick another direction. What becomes a really nice glue between transitions is just allowing the weight of the head to take you. So this time I led with the right hand, there with the left hand. And it's a completely different shape, and it's exactly the same kind of physical exertion, but it adds loads of variety. It's really nice. And the same thing can be done in the lunge position as well. We won't go through it here, but again, I can pick a direction and see where that takes the body from single leg cartwheel or a lunge, or a cartwheel. All right, what else? I wish I brought some notes with me. What happened in that sequence? There was that, into a little thread through. Oh, let's toy with the Gumby. I will have a breakdown of this. You can do a cartwheel, maybe like a baby arching cartwheel. So I'm not going to go in depth into a breakdown here. I'll kind of just throw a nice little free sample at you and see what catches. So hopefully you have just drilled a few cartwheels and things. So one of the movements that I did was kind of like this sweeping entry. I thought I was going to kick the wall there, bailed it, but you kind of get the idea. This movement. And I'm not going very deep into that Gumby. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes the feet trail just off the floor. I like that one sometimes, but I won't necessarily express that one today. So, a little bit of a breakdown of it. Essentially, doing a cartwheel, a lot of this drills, we might have noticed that the hands are sweeping in front. All I think about now, because it is an arching shape, is traveling on the line of my cartwheel, but this the second hand coming, if not, let's say behind the line of the ear. And the moment it does that, it's going to invite a little bit more of the trajectory for the inverted shape. And what's really important here when we're doing this cartwheel and the second arm is coming behind the ear is not tucking the chin, because it tends to close the shape completely. So if I'm still doing the line with the hands and I tuck the chin, notice how my body wanted to fall down and close in on itself. Again, I'll tuck the chin. And this is a very, very common occurrence when people are trying to figure out the Gumby. What's very scary is the unknown territory of letting the nose and the chest push through. Or simpler than that, letting the head be neutral. So if you find you're closing the chin, what can be nice is doing a few forgiving handstand entries and letting the head come through the arms. Head through the arms. And it just invites your body to let go a little bit. Already that can create like a bit of a Mexican handstand shape where you do find a little bit of an inversion in terms of the over arch. So remember this, when we're doing our line, arm behind the ear, relax the head or push the head through. And it starts to create that arching motion a little bit more. And then a tiny detail that we can toy with there is instead of having your hands on the same line, I push the leading hand slightly forwards, and I keep doing the same thing with this hand. But what this is going to do is instigate the chest rotating for the arching shape at this point. So there's a few ways that I like to enter this one. Sometimes, if I'm going for the Gumby this direction, I like to step the left leg forwards, and then it kind of helps swing my body into that shape. So I'll do it from here. So I step the left leg, and it helps take my body in that trajectory a little bit more. Let's do it from another angle. So here, as I step this leg, instead of coming on the line, I take my hand a bit further, which the step is going to help promote a little bit more. So here, step, reach, and Gumby there. Or another entry can be sweeping back, and this is what I did in the video. So here, I can take the left leg back, and it's just winding my body into kind of the opposite direction. So here I was stepping and reaching. This one, I'm stepping back, and my opposite foot and opposite hand has this relationship to create that entry. Woo. Like so. That's a bit of a Gumby breakdown. I've got some special tricks and tips in the full video of the other one, and I go way more in depth in mobility and things like that. So yeah, I'll try to remember to put a link in the description of all the how-tos. If I don't, when I'm editing, it's probably because someone hasn't bought me a coffee. So buy your boy a coffee, subscribe if you like this stuff, little ad break. And also leave a comment and remind me to add it, and I'll add it as soon as possible. This is already me knowing my future self. So, okay, that's the Gumby. What do you do after that? Oh, another spiral. Okay, something a little bit simpler. The conical spiral into the forward single leg cartwheel. So here, so I'm rotating around. I'm going the direction of my head sweeping low and leading here with the leading hand instead of the opposite hand. So I spiral low, reach, and that position there. Hopefully you had happy accidents or found yourself doing that movement before. So as the head sweeps low, hands reach, and I'm just sweeping that bottom foot. And I'm taking this into kind of like combining it in with a Panda roll. This Panda roll, it's kind of a bit more of a transitional element of this movement. I like to keep the hands in, however, so transferring weight and pushing up and collapsing on one side. The inside landing pads are pushing back up, and I'm lowering myself down on the side I want to travel. So I roll, collapse down, hip, forearm, shoulder, roll, and then the inside, instigate, so it creates this lovely, like, ooh, ooh, instead of press up, down, roll, up. It's a little bit more gooey. So from there, the single arm transition, instead of collapsing down, it's a bit more dynamic, where I'm collapsing on this grounded side. And as I do this, I really reach with the top arm and let that force the roll, essentially. So I'm still finding this collapse on the strong side, the fulcrum side. And then as soon as it wants to sort of lose that pressure and that weight, reach the arm. So here, I'm on the lever side, I'm rolling down this side. I'm just in the apex of that, like so. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll do a couple more other side. So I collapse on the inside, reach. Okay. Then there's a shoulder roll in there. Shoulder roll, there's a breakdown called armadillo rolls, not gonna mince it. Check it out, it breaks down like so many variations that you can do with the shoulder roll. Essentially, the movement, as I finish this panda roll, I'm taking it into like a little BJJ shoulder roll transition. Okay. This is to get a little bit of the nuts and bolts of the rolling transition. I have one side on the floor, the fulcrum side. This is where I have grounding to give myself choice. The free side is where the potential shows. So there's always this lovely relationship between floor and space, ground and space that we work with in a lot of these movement drills. Ground is the information, stays locked. This gives us the potential. So here the extremities reach out. I sweep the top leg into the top of this sort of like triangle. If I've got a 3-point base, so my planted foot, this foot that's sweep to the top of the triangle, and my hand. From here, I ground through the feet, and as I lift my hips, I try to send my forehead and my nose in between my knees. At the same time, I lift my hips. Ground, lift the hips, nose and forehead between the knees. And I'm transitioning from one shoulder to the other shoulder and coming into a kneeling position. What tends to happen is from here, sweep. Either the nose comes down, it's like, what's going on? Forget to lift the hips. Sometimes you lift the hips and keep the chin open, and it's like, what the hell? I'm aiming for my upper back. So from this planted shoulder, I have to tuck the chin, and then I aim for the upper back. Like so. One thing to help you get a little bit more comfortable with having the chin tucked and not being so stifled there is being in a shoulder stand straddle, look, tap, look to the side, tap same side, look to the side, tap same side. Notice as I tap, I'm bringing the opposite shoulder up. I'm not just going, but really look, lean, tap, and lift. So then we can go down to the knee. I look, toe, knee. And then can you reverse engineer? Look, tap, knee. And then all of a sudden, we're on our lateral shoulder rolls. So that's something to help you get familiar with the rolling transition. QDR we played with at the end of the sequence. Baby QDR rotational push-ups is a lovely foundation. I've got 2, I think, so far, as I'm uploading this, 2 tutorials on QDR, level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 might show up someday, but I've got those breakdowns. Hands to the floor. Hands are turned out slightly to allow for rotation of the hips and the shoulders. and my knees want to track and slide on my forearms, kind of like they're stuck on train tracks here. Because then as I get used to that distance, all I have to do is take one knee, let's say this knee, to the opposite wrist, and it exposes. So I'm going to move my right knee, it exposes my right hip, let the hip find the upper arm, tap the head, and push back up. Other side, left knee exposes the left hip, I rest my elbow and upper arm into the side body, reach, tap the head down, and come back up. Once you get used to that, we can do it into peeing dogs. Turn in, lift, and crunch it back in again. Turn in, lift, crunch it back in. How I was exiting out of this movement is it's really nice. Instead of, this is a movement that makes us almost feel like our body wants to go this direction, because it feels quite scary on the elbow. Here's a very forgiving and gentle way to come out in the opposite side, the back side, essentially. So as I do that rotation, the peeing dog leg kicks behind and I push out. And it brings us out into a little bit of a different exit. So as I turn it in, the top leg kicks behind and I spiral out of that shoulder. Takes a little bit of getting used to. Play around with the hand placement. You'll notice how different hand placements might bring you out a little bit less open, sometimes a bit more open. You'll feel it out. Which direction can I go now? Here. And then how strong you feel on this lever is how light and fluid you could be on the toes. If you feel a little bit less familiar and comfortable here, the step might be a little bit more like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Once you start to feel a bit more confident in this, by being sort of a bit more comfy here, then a bit more of this sliding quality can show up. I think that's the nuts and bolts of the sequence. Let's piece it together. I'm going to talk through the transitions very slowly, and then maybe show the full sequence. Then I'll see if I show some regressions and different ideas to toy with. So you can kind of like skip along accordingly. I think I'll do the actual sequence now and then break it down full flow. And if you want to try out some of the qualities of the regressed version, I'll timecode that again so you can fleet between the two. All right then, first transition. I'm going to do this, I'll demonstrate. I'm going to be traveling towards the left leg leading. Feel free to find your chocolate side and just do the opposite of what I'm explaining. And yeah, I'll try and be clear with those cues. So here I'm going that circular motion, so as my head dips low, it's towards my left leg. I'm going to let this turn me into the opposite hand reaching. Back foot steps through, and I transfer the weight and end up facing the other direction. So again, a little bit less talk, a little bit more flow. Like so. On that kick through, make it how you want to. It could be sort of a very simple thread through, or you could, I was adding a little bit of a hop in the transition. So reach, hop, spin. In this space now, what I demonstrated before, that Gumby transition, as I rotate round, this front leg is going to kick back, and it's going to be in relationship with my opposite hand as it reaches. So a kick into that Gumby. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. I'll do the regressions on the other one. So, piecing that together. Kicks through, rotate, keep that momentum as I step it round. I do not care how you land on this because we're going to save the landing even if it feels a bit less controlled. For me, it doesn't feel the most controlled, I'm not going to lie. But what saves it is, wow, however I land and the energy dictates, I let my head take it. And this is where I have the contingency. So I step, rotate round, and we're going to soften the blow by doing a single leg cartwheel. So I'm kind of doing that spiral to the same leg as I did before, same direction, head to left foot. This time single leg cartwheel, I reach, sweep. And as this leg is traveling down, I start collapsing and rolling. Comprende? After that roll, I keep my forearms tugged in. So if I do the roll, yeah, so as I do the roll, I bring my forearms in, and so I prep, like so. I finish here, and it's gonna keep the same momentum, traveling into the shoulder, the lifted hips, transfer shoulders, to kneeling. On this kneeling, my head stays on the floor. I just like that detail because it takes us into the QDR quite nicely. So, we'll do it from, the Gumby's just been done. Sorry, the phone's going, I don't know if you can hear it, very sorry. That's not for me to answer. All right, circle around. Here, single leg cartwheel. Roll, forearms, transfer, kneeling, and sweep out of the QDR. What a lovely finish there. The head staying grounded, I think, just keeps that flow back up as well. So that's the full sequence. Let's see, I'm really tired now. But, I'll try and do another full demonstration of it. Weight of the head. There we go. All right. Do I do a regressed version? Shall I? Yeah. I'm not gonna mince it though, because a lot of these drills hopefully have leveled you up into a certain quality now. If you're this far, you probably be able to pick this up nice and easy. I'm not gonna change too much. This spiral around, easy, crab through, whoa, transfer the weight. But here I can just do a cartwheel. Land, rotate. This Jaguar is nice and easy. I'm gonna just change my line so I don't kick the wall. Jaguar, collapse both arms into that roll. The shoulder roll transition, if you're finding this really difficult. As I come here, I wanna try and just push into a forward roly-poly. So I'm going to lift my hips, tuck the chin, and roll. However you stand from this roll is going to take you into the QDR. So again, in that rolling transition from the Jaguar, because I did change the Panda roll a bit. So here, boom, step, I base down, and then just do like we did in the warm-up drill. As soon as I get to here, I keep the momentum, drop this shoulder, tuck the chin. I can use the feet to push up into a forward roll. However you stand, take it into your QDR. One more demo. Let me see if this is still recording, because if it's not, I swear I'm going to, yes, it's still recording. I won't finish that sentence. It would probably be banned from YouTube. So, regressed version. How we go? Okay. That flowed really nicely. I like that. Oh, that worked out. For kicks, I'm gonna do my dark side. This is my light side. This is my chocolate side. Let's demo it the other way. Let's see what happens. All right, yeah, because I'm gonna be humble in this one. You guys are my accountability partners. If I'm gonna preach practicing on one side, which I don't often preach because I don't wanna not practice what I preach, but I also try to as well. It's just not 100% of the time, so I won't fake the funk. Dark side now. Okay. What did I do here? Yeah. That wasn't so bad. That was alright, I'll take that. And one take. You won't see any edits or cuts in this video. Alright, I think we're done. I enjoyed that one. It's nice to be back on the saddle. Yeah, as always, any constructive criticism, any things that you found interesting, weird, useful, not very useful, please leave a comment. Really liking this really liking this community that's building right now. And as always, an extended form of gratitude after the like, after the subscribe might be buying your boy a coffee. The link will be downstairs. Just a couple clicks for these late night edits. I'm gonna be editing this tonight straight off the bat. So, hope you enjoy. Love, 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 family tree.